Okay, so if you don't listen to Deontay Kyle's podcast, the Grits and Eggs podcast, Deontay Kyle is like the one black man with a mic that like needs to have a mic. But he was talking about how we as black people often subject our kids to racism as children because unfortunately, in often we see that those white schools are the privileged schools. It have better education, X, Y, and Z. And I am both someone who has gone through this, but then also now as a parent, I feel like I am potentially subjecting my kids to this. And so I'm coming to this completely open because I don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we do? I just want to talk about my own experiences, and I'm always open to feedback. Okay, so someone mentioned I was listening to other people's stories or stitching this, and so this is my own personal experience because from a very young age I almost always went to public school except for my last 2 years of high school. I was always though in the gifted and talented class, which means I was almost always the only black kid, and it ruined me to a point in which I was very anti-black myself. And it's almost comical now because I am so pro-black as a black woman. I am a black woman married to a black man with black kids, but like I almost feared black people because I was so deep into white society because I was only ever around white people. Move forward to that. I go to a boarding school essentially, which is a gifted and talented boarding school in my state that only accepts 150 kids. Is it 150 per grade? It's junior, senior. I can't remember if it's 300 total or 150 total. Nevertheless, the school happens to be in the town, the city I'm born into. So my family lives there. So while I'm going to this boarding school, at the same time, I'm being immersed back into like black society. So it's a very trippy like experience, pivotal, hated it, but also necessary. But like craziest stuff would happen at this school because you would get people that come to this school who have never, and there was like, I would say still a very small black population, but they would recruit from I'm in Indiana. They would recruit from Gary and the region. They would recruit from black areas, which I specifically called out here in recent years because my sister, who is 8 years younger than me, ended up going to the same school. And when I went to her graduation, I said, because there was probably 30 out of 300. So 10% of the school at that time was black. And then it was probably like 3 of them when she went. I said, what happened? What happened to the recruitment? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. I remember them making jokes. These kids who never seen black people talking about, I don't even have a stoplight in my town, talking about what do you call 100 black people at the bottom of the ocean? A head start. Mind you, these are the same kids that this school would allow to wear skirts in the lobby and play, what do they call it? I can't remember what they would do all kinds of stuff. They would do all kinds of cosplay, and I'm okay with all of that. But this school was such a bubble of security for these kids who came from these small hick towns, never got to express themselves, do anything. They were so safe and secure, and then allowed them to do stuff like that. Most of these kids had their coming out stories, had all this stuff, but still the racism was like so evident. And that's like the number one school in our state. And so now I have 2 kids. My daughter has always been a high ability. My son is in kindergarten and he is now in a kind of private school, and I've kind of hated it all year, but it's always been like the goal. And I'm so torn because I was going to transfer her in next year, but now I don't know. I think I'm going to let her stay in public school, but I don't know what to do with him because he's already been at that school. Do I transfer? I don't know. I don't know what to do, but this conversation is so important and so necessary. And those experiences are traumatizing. I mean, that it has really shaped my life, positively, negatively. And yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of the comments. Y'all be scaring me sometimes. I ain't gonna hold you. Deontay, you be hitting the nail on the head, my brother.